Okay, so for this assignment, you are going to be creating an individual career plan. So you're going to be basically telling me what you want to do for the next 50 years of your life. Um, One thing you need to remember is that whatever you do on this assignment is what you think you might want to do. I know a lot of y'all don't know what you want to do, but you got to come up with something first. So you're going to go into um, the soft skills individual plan. I'm going to move me out of the way over here. And the very first thing you want to do is what you're going to do is you're going to open up your individual career plan. You do not need to make a copy of this. It will automatically have your name on it. However, I am going to make a copy of it right now because if I don't, then everybody's will look just like it on this assignment. So I'm making a copy and I'm getting rid of that. And so now I have a blank copy that I can work on just like you would have. Okay, so good going. All right. So, very first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your name. So, I'm going to put my name as Susie Smith. I am graduating in the year of 2025. And then I'm going to decide which pathway that I have been doing. So, I wanted to be a teacher my entire life. So, I'm going to do the education pathway. Now, to do the education pathway, I am going to go back to the assignment and get the 24-25 course catalog. In this course catalog, I can go down to the electives page and I can make it bigger by zooming in. And the education, the name of the pathway is called Education Pathway. Now I can copy that information and put it in here. And when I do, I paste without formatting so that it stays blue. So now what I need to do is go get the 3 classes that I am required to take. So I go back over here. The first class I have to take is Early Childhood Education. Copy that one, paste it without formatting. Go to the second one, paste without formatting. Go to the third one, paste without formatting. Okay, so now I have my 3 classes. So what I would have to do is I would have to go back to my grade, and I can't do that because I'm not a student. So you have to go back to your Power School and see what grades you made. If you don't know how to do that, you can come ask me. I don't know how it looks on the screen because Power School changes all the time. But let's say I took early childhood in 9th grade and I made an 87. So I put an 87. I go down to the next one, early childhood, the second one. I haven't taken, I am currently taking it right now. So I would put currently taking. And I still need to take the early practicum, and I'm doing it next semester. So I'm saying spring 2025. Now, if I've already finished them all, I just put the grades 87, 95, and 100, whatever your grades are. My lifelong term goal is going to become a secondary education teacher in math. So I'm going to go secondary education teacher in math. Okay, I want you to be specific. Do not just say nurse. What kind of nurse do you want to be? Do you want an LPN? Do you want to be an RN? What kind of engineer do you want to be? Be specific as to what it is you want to do. Measurable goals I can do in the next 5 years. I am not going to put I want to. You just tell me what it is. So the very first thing is I want to graduate high school with honors. So I'm going to say graduate high school with honors. Second thing I want to do in the next 5 years is graduate from University of Georgia. That's the thing I want to do. Another thing I may want to do is, because I'm working on my education, is I may wish to, and I spelled university, yeah, the University of Georgia. And then the other thing I might want to do is buy a car for transportation to school. Okay? Now, what skills do I have that I have to have in order to be a secondary education teacher in math? So I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to put what skills are needed to be a teacher. And it will come back and it'll tell you what kind of skills you need. I need to have leadership, adaptability, classroom management, critical thinking, patience, conflict resolution, organization, etc. So on this assignment, I'm going to say I have to have organization. So I put what I have to have and how do I have it now. Notebooks are always in orderly or orderly fashion. So I keep all my notebooks correct. What's another one I had to be? Active listening. Okay, so I'm going to put on here active listening. You see what I'm saying. And then the next one, I'm not going to say I am. I'm just going to say what it is. So active listening is my friends come to me to tell their problems or whatever it is. Orderly and orderly fashion. So see again, it checked it for me. And then go ahead and do the next one. All right, what college am I going to? I already told you I want to go to the University of Georgia, so I'm going to type in University of Georgia. I am not going to put in UGA. Spell it out. ABAC is not a college. It is Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. So spell out what you are. All right, what program of study am I going to have to be a secondary teacher? I don't know. Let's go see. What program of study for secondary teacher education at UGA? Amazing how this all works. You go in, University of Georgia has many different ones. Show more. What did I say I was going in? I was going in math. So I keep going, keep going. There's also offers of BSED and mathematics education. So there you go. That is the kind of degree I'm going to have. So when it comes down here and it says desired degree, paste without formatting, a BS and ED in mathematical education. So what am I going to study? Mathematics education. Highest level of education. Go back. What is the highest level of education needed to be a secondary education teacher in Georgia? Because I'm going to teach in Georgia. And it will come back and it will tell you the highest level is the highest level needed. You don't have to have the highest. You don't have to have a master's. Maybe it's the basic level of education needed, because you have to have a bachelor's degree. So maybe I need to write that. What's the lowest level? So I will write that and fix that on yours. So the lowest is Bachelor of Science. And that's what it says, bachelor's degree. All right. Number of years it takes. Again, how many years does it take to get a bachelor's degree in secondary education in Georgia? 4 years. And in here I write 4 years. You see how long this is not taking long at all. Tuition and fees. So what I am going to do here is I am going to go to this link right here and get this information. So now I want to go to the University of Georgia. So I'm going to go down here to where it says the state, and I go to Georgia. When I get to Georgia, I go to find colleges. University of Georgia is going to be one of the last ones if I do it in alphabetical order. If I click over here in the sort, so I'm going to make it go in reverse alphabetical order, which would be Z to A, because university is at the end. So therefore, those pictures come up here first. So I go down, I find University of Georgia, that's West Georgia, Phoenix, Savannah, University of Georgia, University of Georgia, West Macon. Huh. there it is, University of Georgia. So I click on that one. In here, you're going to go to cost. These costs are going to be automatically right here. So my tuition is $9,790. So I'll copy that, put it back over here, paste without formatting. That was for the in-state tuition. I get other fees, which is right here. Paste it in there. Books and tuition, $888. Put it in. Room and board, because there is no way I can live at the University of Georgia. Go to the University of Georgia and live in Adel, Georgia. So I would have to have room and board. So now what I would do is I would add all those up. So I'm going to go to a calculator. I'm going to add all those up. I got 9790, 1390, 294. Sum that. And that would cost me $22,972 a year. So now I'm going to multiply this times 4. Because it takes 4 years to get a degree. And my answers here would be 39160, 5560, 3552, 43616. Gonna make those right aligned. These should have been right aligned. All of them should have been right aligned. I'll have that fixed on your paper. Commas, commas. And for me to get a 4-year degree at University of Georgia, it would cost me $91,888. How am I going to pay for that? Lord only knows. Student loans, work through college, parents have savings. Because Hope only pays 80% of that right there. Hope does not pay all the rest of the stuff. Okay? So Hope only pays 80%, about 80% of your tuition, unless you are Zell Miller, and then it pays 100%. But all the other stuff you have to come up with yourself. So that tells you how that is. All right? Now, that's if I'm going to college. If I'm going to college, then I'm going to come in here, click on this table, and go Format, Table, Delete Table, and that table goes away. I would also get rid of the workforce plans. Now, if I were going into the military, of course, I'm going to do the same thing, just like I did this one, but I would get rid of the post-secondary schools. So I would go to Format, Table, Delete Table. If I'm going into the military, I'd get rid of this one too. Format, Table, Delete Table. And then I would go in and do the military plans. If I were going straight into the workforce, then I would do the workforce plans. So you will answer the questions as you go. Most of the people in here have already that say they want to go to college. The rest of them may want to do other things, and that is completely fine. You just read the question, what branch am I going into? So I'm going into the Navy. Specific career I want to do is I want to be a registered nurse. Registered nurse. Estimated income, how do I find out? Go to Google. How much does a registered nurse make in the Navy? So therefore, it's approximately that much. So you're going to go with the lower end. So a registered nurse makes about 107, 90,000. We're going to go with 90,000. So estimated income is $90,000. What is the name of the recruiter I've spoken to? You need to speak to one. If you have not spoken to one, you need to find out the name of the recruiter for the Navy here at Cook High School. You can do that by going to the CPC. So I'm going to say it's Sergeant John go? Of course it's not. And what date have you taken or will take the ASVAB? So have you signed up for the ASVAB? Have you not signed up for the ASVAB? If you're going into the military, you have to do one of those. So again, you have to go to CPC and find out what the next date is for the ASVAB if you have not done so. I'm going to pretend like it's Monday. So I'm going to say November 5th, 2024. I don't know what the date is. I made that up. That is an incorrect date, so do not put it, but you spell it out. That's what you'd do if you're doing military plans. All right, so if you're not doing military plans, you're going to get rid of that table, and you'd only have workforce. All right, where do you wish to work after graduation? Do not just say, I don't know, because that's not a career. Do you want to go into sales? Do you want to go into business? Do you want to go into welding? Do you want to go, what is it that you want to do? Fast food. If you want to do fast food, whatever it is, but let's just say I'm going to do welding. All right, name 3 companies I know of that you could do welding. So you can go out there to Indeed, would probably be one of them, and say, what's 3 companies? So I want to do welding in Adel, Georgia. And it will tell me that there's a refrigeration technique, there's a maintenance technician, and there's a maintenance technician, and there's a fence installer, but I don't see anything about welding. There's a plumber, there's other stuff, but you got to give them some names. So I'm probably not going to be doing welding within 30 miles, so I may have to go within 100 miles of Adel, Georgia. There's a welding instructor, there's a service technician, so Ditch Witch Sales. So I would take that, Ditch Witch Sales. That was a hard one. Ditch Witch Sales. I know I could probably try to get on at Adel Welding. And I know that I could probably get on at Valdosta A&M Sales. Okay, those aren't real places, but let's just pretend like they were. So I know that that's what it would be. So the anticipated annual income for a beginning welder. What is the average income for a beginning welder in Adel, Georgia? Location Adel, 43,377. So that's about the average salary. I put 43,777. Now, what is the estimated living expenses for you? Because you have all this other stuff. So my cell phone, I'm going to say it costs me $75 a month. My rent, how much does it cost to rent an apartment now? Okay, so I'm just going to live with mom and dad. What is my car payment? You don't know because maybe your parents pay it, but you know it that somebody pays it. So I'm going to say it's $350. And then my car insurance is about $175 a month. Again, these will be fixed so that they are right aligned on your document already. But, so now the total of that would be 75, 350, 175. So living at home, it cost me about $600 a month. So now you would take those and multiply it again. So that would be 300. That would be 1,400. Whoops. That would be 1,400. That would be 700. And so that would cost about $2,400 a year. So yeah, living at home, way to go. But let's be real. If you're getting out in the real world, you don't want to live at home. So how much does it usually cost to rent an apartment? I have no clue because thank God I own my own house. But what is the average apartment rent in Valdosta, Georgia? So average apartment rent is about 960. Let's just go 1,000 a month. So 1,000 a month. So that would be 12,000 a year. So therefore, how much would it cost me a month to live? And this is not counting food, because of course you're living on your own now. So that's about how much you would be making a year. Um, no, this would be times 12. Sorry, those numbers were wrong. I was wondering how it was costing you so little. All right, so this would be not times 4, it'd be times 12. And my numbers are all wrong. Let's try this again. All right, so these numbers are all wrong. So if it's $75, it's $900 a year. If it's $1,000 a month, it's $12,000 a year. If it's a car payment of $350, it would be $4,200 a year. If it's a car insurance of $175, it'd be $2,100 a year. So therefore, it would cost me $19,200 a year just to live. Okay, that's not counting food. That's not counting all the other wonderful stuff out there. So you need to make sure that you make at least that amount of money in order to survive. And then that would be how you did this one right here. So, of course, if you're not going to college, you still have the same plans and what you want to do and all that kind of information. So, everybody in here may have different aspects. You may have workforce, you may have military, or you have education, which is both yellow. Once you have completed that, then all you would have to do is attach that to this assignment. Now, be specific about your long-term goals. Make sure your statements are not in sentence, they are statements. Make sure that your abilities, you have the ability in caps, and then you tell me how you've been doing it. And then delete the sections that you do not want, and then attach it to the end. And if you have any questions whatsoever, make sure that you just give me a call, and I'll be glad, stop by my office, and I'll be glad to help you. Thanks so much.